Welcome to the Alchemy Lounge, where we dismantle manifestation myths, rewrite your success codes, and activate your highest reality. I'm Victoria Quance, your intuitive alchemist, blending science, soul, and strategy, so the extraordinary becomes your everyday. If you're ready to rip up the rulebook and unfuck your life, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Okay, hello and welcome. So today in the Alchemy Lounge, we have a very special guest, and I am incredibly excited for this one, as I always am. But I have no doubt that this will truly be a conversation to unfuck your life. And our lovely guest, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see, has a sign that says unfuckwithable behind her as well, which is pretty awesome. So the gorgeous Cindy is a woman who's rewriting rules of success, leadership, and doing it with zero tolerance for burnout and bullshit, from what I can gather, which is incredible and so aligned with what I love to talk about. So very, very excited to have you here, Cindy. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those who haven't had the pleasure of diving into your world yet, can you just tell us a little bit more about you and the work that you do?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show today. And I can't wait to get into this conversation because we're very aligned with the whole unfuckwithable thing. But yeah, a couple of different things. I'm an ex-cocaine addict, and instead of formal treatment, I moved to a country that had the death penalty if you do drugs. That's how I got clean. And then the other thing that I is interesting about my work is I am one of 2,000 practitioners in the world who uses Book of Life numerology, and almost nobody knows what that is. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. But it is a ancient system that actually human design and astrology were both born out of, and it is hidden in a deck of playing cards.
I love that. It's so secret,
Right?
mysterious. Oh,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Oh, amazing. I mean, what a bloody way to get yourself clean as well. Like, hats off to you.
Thank
Like,
you.
that is balls to the wall, isn't it? Like, this is what
Yeah.
we're doing, and this is how we're going to make sure we do it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
celebrating you.
I knew that formal treatment wasn't going to work for me, and my mom knew as well. And
Mm,
it was just, I've got to do something. So
yeah.
what's it going to be? And that was my choice.
Yeah, love that. Amazing. That says a lot about your character as well. I love that.
Thank you.
So you've mentioned the numerology, which I adore. I adore numerology. I'm not too like hot on it. Like I know my own kind of chart. Like I work with
Mhm.
astrology an awful lot. I dabble in human design, but not so much in numerology. So how did
Mm.
that path find you? Or how did the deck of cards find you?
Mm. Yeah, so it's interesting. As I was coming back from all my travels, and I came back and instantly kind of fell back into old patterns. So
Mm,
I was working behind a bar at a dive bar. I actually had a baseball bat to use in case anything happens because single female closing this bar by myself at 1 in the morning.
mm,
And there was one night where I didn't have to use the bat, but I had to threaten with it. And I left that bar that night just going, I'm done. I'm done. I
mm.
can't do this anymore. And as the move to a country that has the death penalty, I was about 35 years old at the time. And I went home and there was a song that came on the radio by a band named Hailstorm.
Mm.
And it's called I Am the Fire. And in that song, there is one line that says, You are the one you've been waiting for.
Ooh.
And oh, every time I say this, I get shivers.
Oh, yeah. I feel that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it was in that moment that I just decided I'm like I'm done. So I went home and I did some research. Well, at this point, never held a job for more than a year.
Mhm.
You name the job, I have done it. Psychic hotlines, pipelining in
Ooh,
southern Alberta. Yeah, I've done everything, but
I love
nothing
that.
stuck. I just
Mm.
kept searching and searching. So I decided to go back to school as a mature student to do event and promotions management. And I
That
hated
was
that
my
too.
undergrad as well. I did events management. We are so in tune.
Make this
Love
shit
it.
up.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I ended up hating the whole program. I didn't love the graphic design that needed to be done and
Yeah.
creating flyers and things like I just didn't love it. But part of our curriculum was to go and volunteer at live events.
Mm,
And I decided to start a business as a virtual assistant
hmm.
because another thing that I did was I studied Brendan Burchard, T. Harv Eker, all of the greats in the
Mm,
internet businesses, right? So I knew how to build all the funnels and do all
yeah.
the sales and all the marketing, but I'd never implemented it. And I thought, well, I could take all of this and actually be a virtual assistant, help others do it.
Yeah.
So I went and volunteered at an event that had 150 healers, coaches, mentors in the room. And I built my business off the back end of that room.
Nice.
So I walked out of there with 8 clients. But one of the women that I met was this numerologist that worked with a deck of playing cards.
Mm.
Now, I've read the Quran front to back, I've read the Bible front to back, I have done the spiritual study, but I was like, no, that's a bunch of bullshit. I'm
We
like,
always
there's no
start as the
way.
biggest skeptics, don't we?
Right? Like the deck of playing cards, that's for fucking poker, right? Like it's
Mhm.
not for divination and understanding your life path and stuff. But there was something about what this woman was saying. And at the time she was doing this daily broadcast on Facebook.
Mm,
And it was like 5, 10 minutes. So I would tune in every morning and just listen.
okay.
Started to see the pattern. And I was like, hang on, wait a second. There's something to this. So after probably 6 or 8 months or so, I was like, all right, tell me more about this. And I invested to work with her and I learned everything that she could teach me. And beyond that, we've since gone separate ways, but everything that I know about numerology came from her.
Oh,
Yeah.
gorgeous. So, how did you find it when you first started working with it? And I love that you were really like skeptical about it to begin with, because I was exactly the same with pretty much everything, I think, except tarot. Like, I started playing with tarot when I was like 13, and that just felt
Mm-hmm.
like natural. But everything else, even like manifestation, like I had to understand the science and the psychology of it until I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I will accept this. Um, so how did you find that transition? And for anyone who is like, yeah, it sounds all very well and good, but I don't really see how that would work for me. Like how would
Mm-hmm.
you advise them and how did you transition to actually getting behind it?
Yeah, one of the things that I always say is better experienced than explained
Yeah.
because it's so in depth and it's so hidden. There are books that are hidden in secret libraries all over the world. There is only one book ever written about this system. He was
Wow.
allowed to go into these secret libraries and pull certain information,
Mm,
and there's only one book. And it is the most complicated, convoluted book on the planet. It's so complicated because it's math, right?
mm,
The numerology is simply math.
yeah.
And it all boils down to the universe is a mathematical equation.
Hmm.
So that started to make sense to me, right? Because
Yeah.
there's science behind that. So I started to connect the dots of like, okay, numbers is just math. And
Hmm.
then I started to connect the dots of numbers carry frequency and
Mm,
everything is frequency. And then I was like, okay, this is starting to add up to me.
yeah.
But my first reading that I got with her, I was like, the fuck? My whole life for 25, 30 years. My dad passed away when I was 16 and it threw me on a trajectory. And ever since then, I kept searching and trying to
Mm,
figure out who I was, but it was buried underneath all that trauma. And
mm,
then abuse, addiction, all of those. I just buried it, buried it, buried it. And I didn't know what my truth was anymore. And so I had been seeking that truth for years. Thought I'd find it in the Bible. Nope. Thought I'd
mm.
find it in the Quran. Nope. Thought I'd find it in a pipeline in southern Alberta. Nope.
Nope. Not there either.
And as she was delivering this reading to me, it was like that moment, like I just felt seen for the very first
Mm,
time in my entire life. And there is my mom brings this up all the time now. There's a picture of me when I was 5 years old. I am in some campground in Alberta. I'm up on a stage wearing my dad's hat and
nice.
I am hamming it up. I am just like dancing and so animated and all over the place. Well, when I got this reading from her, I was working as a virtual assistant. I
Mm,
had never spoken publicly. I had never done a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or any kind of video. I worked behind the scenes.
mm,
And this reading reminded me of that little 5-year-old girl who was unfiltered,
yeah.
unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
And I started to step into the truth. and I started doing more speaking gigs. I started doing video. I did a Facebook Live every day for 4 years straight.
Wow.
That's how I got very flamboyant. But yeah, it just kind of led me down the path of who
Mm,
I really truly was. But the other thing that I think is the beauty behind this system is it doesn't just tell you who you are.
mm,
That's wonderful. Astrology can tell you that,
yeah.
human design can tell you that. But what it does is it opens up what's possible for you.
Mm,
So it shows you a pathway and it says, do you want to go on this path or not? So it really opens us up to our free will and our human tendencies. It helps you see your patterns, but it
mm,
also helps you to really grab onto your power
yeah.
and step up and straighten your crown and do the damn thing.
Yeah, so, so important. And, you've obviously got some great tools there that helped you kind of move through those life events for you as well. But for anyone who kind of resonates with that, with either with trauma or just with something from either their upbringing or other points in their life that's really knocked them, whether it be, there's never like a competition for what's more traumatic than another
No,
thing, but
no.
some people are like, well, I've had this, but it's not actually that traumatic. And it's like, it's okay. Like if there's anything that's knocked you, what would
Mhm.
you say was like your best thing other than doing Facebook lives for 4 years? What was like your go-to like to get started and to start to process and move away from that, whatever event that was?
Mm. This actually ties into the numerology piece a little
Mm,
bit. So, the other piece that I learned from this woman was the practical application of universal law. And
mm,
one of those is the 6 stages of divine timing. Now, everybody says the word saying all in divine timing. Time heals all things,
and you're
right?
like, fuck off.
But that's really fucking vague. What does this even mean, right? So give me the actual tangibles. So
Mm,
she provided me with this understanding of the 6 stages of divine timing, and
mm,
I'd be happy to go through those 6 stages.
yeah, absolutely.
But what it helped me to understand is not only how to process emotion and process trauma, but then also how to manifest and move forward from it. So I find a lot of these healing modalities which are wonderful, and there's a
Hmm.
time and a place for them. I've
Yep.
spent years in therapy, but what it does is it keeps you in the healing cycle.
Hmm.
And it becomes this almost like an addiction. I've got to heal more. I've got to
Yeah.
peel back another layer. I've got to do more of this and this and this. And you never actually move forward.
Yeah.
And the 6 stages of divine timing moves you out of the healing cycle and into what's next, which is what changed my whole life.
And that's so key. I think it was probably maybe about 6 to 8 months ago now. I was like, I'm moving out of the healing space.
Hmm.
Like I'd worked as a healer for a really long time, during like COVID pandemic and things like that. I was providing healing and we really needed it at that time. But I
Hmm.
was like, I'm moving away from healing. And everyone was like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
how, why? No, like really, really panicked. And it's not that I don't hold like ceremonies, like I still have my retreats and things like that. But I was like, I don't want to keep people in that healing space because that can be addictive in itself.
Yeah.
And I was finding on my own journey, like I'd almost use it as like a procrastination tool. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I can't do this until I've healed this. And like
Right.
there's always something. And like you're not broken and in need of healing. Like
Yeah.
healing for me is it's growth and it's evolution.
Yes.
And it's healing something that maybe hasn't had attention before, so you can move on.
Yeah.
So we want to move.
Yes.
Like
We
we
have
are
to move,
here to
otherwise we're
move.
in a spin cycle.
Yeah. Like we don't want to stay in that space. And you mentioned therapy as well. I've experienced therapy as well, and absolutely has a time and a place, but it can
Mhm.
keep you in that zone. And that's
Yeah.
not always helpful to keep reliving
Yeah.
whatever it is that you're talking through. So I love that you brought up the universal laws
Mhm.
because I, as a manifestation like expert, but also obsessy,
Mhm.
I have a bit of a thing that the law of attraction always gets the limelight.
Oh my God.
So,
Right?
yes, massively. And I'm like, it's great. And yes, you will use it. But I was like, that's not the only way you're going to manifest. Like, give the
Yeah.
others their time.
You're
So,
missing the other, 24
I
or
know,
more
like
laws. Yeah.
you're doing yourself like a disservice. Like you could make it so much easier. Come on. So,
Hmm.
let's talk about this. So,
Yes.
obviously you spoke about like the 6 stages of divine timing.
Mhm.
But for anyone who's not heard of this as one of like the laws, how would you kind of summarize it if you like? What are we talking
Mm.
about with this law?
Yeah, so I think there's a misconception that divine timing is out of our control,
Mm,
that we just have to sit back and wait, right? Which is, I think, where the law of attraction gets its limelight,
yes.
is it's like, well, I've decided I want this, so now I'm just going to sit on the patio and stare at butterflies and call it in, right? And
If
it doesn't work
only.
that way. So the divine timing cycle actually shows us when to be an active participant,
Hmm.
when to sit on the patio and stare at butterflies, when to hustle and move. So there's particular time periods where we're meant to be doing those things when
Mm,
we're manifesting, or we have divine timing cycles throughout a 7-day cycle. So every
mm,
week we have a divine timing cycle. Every 7 weeks, every year,
mm.
every 7 years, these things, and we can read this through your numerology chart as well
Nice.
and figure out what this is. But really, ultimately, it's if you want something, if you want to manifest something, then there are certain steps you need to take in order to get them. You got to detach from outcome, but you've also got
Hmm.
to set the intention, and then you've got to feel your feelings of why it's not coming to you, right? So there's all these things, and the 6 stages of divine timing cycle actually gives you the timeline of
Nice.
when to move and when to sit down.
I love that. And that's
Yeah.
so helpful because I think I know from like my own experiences, like I have panicked before. And I've been like, well, I've done like the process. And when I was very early on in like my manifestation journey, before like I started studying it and writing about it and things, and I was like, well, I've done the things, I've done like what everyone says to do, and I've read
Hmm.
all the books, and I've listened to a meditation, and I've done this, and I'm like, but now what? And then it's
Yeah.
almost like panic does set in, and you're like, how long am I supposed to wait for this?
Right.
And then I think our ego kicks in and goes, well, maybe you've not done enough.
Hmm.
And then
And
we
that's
start
when
spiraling that
mentors,
cycle.
right? And that's when you hear from somebody, all in divine timing.
Yes. And you want to hit them in the face. I hear it one more time. Yes, that's it. So, can you walk us through then a time when you kind of surrendered to this divine timing or you worked with these 6 stages
Mhm.
and how it helped you to get what you wanted?
Yeah, I think the best way to explain this is actually when I was moving through the healing. And what
Mm,
I wanted was to just wake up in the morning not feeling anxious and to not feel stressed out, to wake up in the morning with a smile on my face. That was all I wanted at the time. I've used this cycle multiple times for other things, but
mm,
the first thing that I needed to do was become aware of all of the crap, the story that I was telling myself in my head,
mm.
the thoughts, what was under the surface, and not just like what you're telling yourself on a daily basis, but like underneath the surface too, that subconscious layer of like the lack of self-worth. After
Yeah.
being through addiction and abuse for years, it was like, who the fuck am I? I'm
Yeah.
not worthy for to even feel happy, right? So, and I always say, if without awareness, you can't change anything.
Hmm.
So, awareness is everything.
Yeah.
So, the minute that I became aware after I got a numerology reading, I was like, oh, I see. So, once you become aware, you can't unsee it.
Mm.
And that leads you into the next stage of divine timing, which is the acceptance piece where you're like, oh shit, I created this reality. Oh
It's on
my God.
me.
Right? And then you beat the crap out of yourself. Oh my
Hmm.
God. And the guilt and the shame and the blame and everything comes up to the surface. And you feel like you might cry for months on end just because it's all coming out. And I always say to my clients when I'm doing this work with them, I say, you're not more emotional. You're
No.
just aware of the
Yeah.
emotions that were already there.
Mm.
Right? And so it's an opportunity to, number one, forgive yourself and ultimately, a lot of people say, well, forgive other people, but ultimately all comes back to you anyways.
Mm.
And so one of the things that I did during that period of time is I went and sat and had coffee with the man who punched me in the face.
Okay.
We're
Wow.
not friends, but I forgave him and I just let it go. And I
Mm.
had a coffee with him and we walked away, not friends, but it was okay. It was
Yeah.
okay. It's just something that happened, right? Instead of
Mm.
that emotional charge behind it.
Okay.
one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yikes. I feel that even just from you saying it, like, oh, like I want to
Still
like
kind
punch
of
him for you. Like, I know that's not the way we're meant to be going, but I'm like, oh, yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
But it was so liberating to be able
Mm,
to do that, right? I mean, there's the Sufi tribe suggests that we're only creating toxicity in our own body when we
yeah.
hold on to these resentments and these trauma and this anger. And so I decided to let it go,
Yeah.
right? And it set me free. So once that's cleared out and you've come to this place of like, okay, I love and accept myself, right? Okay, cool. Now you could go and sit on the patio and stare at butterflies.
Now we're in
But,
that phase.
right? But there's other things to be doing here.
Hmm.
And so what I leaned into was the acceptance of what could be.
Mm,
And so, what does it feel like to wake up with a smile on my face every day? What does it feel like to be excited about life again?
mm.
What does it feel like to love myself? And you start to accept that emotional state, right? It's identity work, right? Where
Yeah.
you're becoming the version of you, right? And then that leads you into the next stage, which is the most trickiest of all, self-responsibility. I've got to
Mm.
now pull up my big girl pants and be the woman
Damn
who
it.
wakes up with a smile on her face, right? And some days you don't wake up with a smile on your
Yeah.
face, right? And so it's really about making that choice over and over and over again. Like somebody gave me advice once. I've just recently, a couple of years ago, gotten engaged, and I
Mm.
was never one for commitment. And somebody said to me, it's not like you just get engaged and you choose that once and you're done.
Mm.
You wake up every morning and you choose that person again and again and again.
Yeah,
And
true.
I'm like, oh, right. And it's the same thing with our manifestations, with what
Yeah.
we're choosing, who we're choosing to become. Even when you're having a shitty day,
Yeah.
you choose to be that person anyway, right? So self-responsibility moves you into the activation stage, which is now you are becoming that person.
Mm.
So now you're taking the actions, you're following the nudges, you're an active participant in the manifestation. So now, maybe once every second day, you're waking up with a smile on your face,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe you're like, okay, obviously I've got this other subconscious belief that I need to deal with, right? So you're maybe doing a little bit of healing work,
Mm.
but you're actively participating in the becoming
Yeah.
of that version of you, right? So there was a lot for me of healing work, lots of like, I got to learn more about my numerology, lots of
Mm.
these just actions that I didn't really know how they were all coming together to,
Mm.
right? So it was like all these breadcrumbs everywhere, and I was picking them up, and I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. What does that have to do with anything, right? And that's where you're trusting that the universe
Mm.
is leading you in the right direction, even when it doesn't make any fucking sense,
Yeah.
which then leads you into this stage of momentum, where most people self-sabotage. And
Mm.
the whole when question happens, right? When am I going to become this person? When am I going to see the results?
Yeah.
I must be doing it wrong, right? And so we either stop or we just shut down completely or we reverse ourselves back to our old being.
Hmm.
And the trick is keep going. So in momentum, I always say momentum is like the rocket ship is taking off.
Mm.
And when a rocket launch happens, there is smoke and debris and dust everywhere.
Yeah.
You're the rocket, not the smoke and debris, right? So relationships are falling apart.
Yeah.
Habits are falling to the wayside because you're no longer that person anymore, right? And what you see is your current reality crumbling and falling
Hmm.
apart. And your brain goes, ah, oh
Yeah.
no, right? Because I'm attached to that. But what it's doing is creating space for the new version of you. And so we've, again, that law of entropy and evolution, you've got to just lean in because you're not going that way, you're going that
Yeah.
way, right? And so you stay focused and you stay on the path of becoming, which leads you to the final stage, which is transmutation, where you
Mm.
recognize, oh shit, I'm waking up with a smile on my face every
Did
day,
it.
right? And here's what most people do in this stage too. They forget to celebrate,
Yeah.
right? Okay, now what's next? What's
Yeah.
next? What's next? Right? Instead of just going, whew,
Did it.
I just went on a journey.
Yeah.
Look at that, right? Pat on the back.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I used it in the very beginning, and now I use it in all aspects of my work
Hmm.
for building business and manifesting money and all sorts of good things.
Amazing. And I love that it's a process and it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's such
Hmm.
a lovely explanation of it as well. And I really like the part where you were saying, where you wake up, but you choose every day
Yeah.
because that's so freeing as well because you can also change your mind.
Yes,
Like that's
exactly.
okay too. Like people really panic and they're like, "Oh, what if I manifest something that I don't want?" Or like, "What if I decide that it isn't what I want?" And I think when you're in the phase where you're like embodying that and you're acting as that version, if you then don't like it, you can
Hmm.
change. You can still make a change. You don't have to
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, I've got to achieve this now and then I'll have to
Right?
like manifest a new identity." Like you can change at any moment.
Yes.
And I think that's
Yes.
really freeing and really like empowering in itself as well,
Yeah. The
which is
beauty of,
gorgeous.
free will. We were given free
Mm.
will as a human being to decide how we want to approach our day every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sabotage piece always gets me because I mean, we're souls in a human body, right? It's kind of we've got an ego, we need it to protect our physical body, but Christ on a motorbike. Sometimes you're like, really? Really?
Yes.
Are we going to do
Yes.
this now? But I find with people that I'm working with, when they're in that space, and definitely when I've been in that space and I've managed to work my way out of it and I've not done it, like you're so close.
Hmm.
Like it's when you're like literally at the threshold and your ego's going, oh no, like this version of me is gonna literally die because you're taking on a new identity. It's kicking up the biggest fuss. It means you are so close.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Keep
Yes. Actually,
going.
there's a story that I always use with my clients. I don't even know if it's a true story or not. I don't know where it came from, but there was a man during the gold rush who purchased a mine and he went to the mine and
Mhm.
he was like, I'm gonna strike it rich. And every day he'd get up and he'd go to his mine and he would dig and dig and dig and dig and
Mm.
dig and dig and dig and every day, day after day after day. And after several days or weeks or months, he was like, "Ugh, I'm never gonna hit gold." So he went and sold his mine. And the man who purchased the mine the next day went down, I'm going to strike it rich. And he dug 3 feet and struck gold.
I knew you were gonna say that. Oh,
Right? And so I
yeah,
always remember that story when my ego starts going, "Oh, but obviously these
yeah,
results are never coming," right? You're 3 feet from gold.
yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Like because you don't know. And if you are like it is because you're letting go of an identity and that identity is gonna like do everything to save itself.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
exactly.
It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense, doesn't it? But I think we're almost in a world where like we love instant gratification and we love
Oh my
things now.
gosh.
We have like same day delivery now, for God's sake. Like we are very much like on demand
Hmm.
in the society that we live in. How would you say to people, especially those who are perhaps like they're trying to manifest a new reality because they are really in a bit of a shit situation or a shit circumstance? How can we enjoy that journey as much as possible or enjoy, I don't want to call it the wait because can collapse timelines and everything else, but
Right.
how do we enjoy when there is that slight delayed gratification? How can
Hmm.
we enjoy that part of the journey?
It's so funny that you bring this question up because I literally did a voice memo to my clients about this very thing this
Love it.
morning.
We're in
So,
tune. Law of divine oneness.
right? I think the biggest thing is we're constantly looking for proof, right? I
Mm,
need proof that what I said was the right thing, that what I shared with that person actually had impact. I'm looking for proof of my value in the world. And so I work with business coaches, I work with
mm,
coaches, mentors in the online space. And so what I see them doing all the time is they are attaching meaning to a single piece of content on Instagram.
yeah.
And they make that post everything. And if nobody comments, likes, or shares, then it obviously means that I have fucked it all up and I've done it wrong and I'm not saying the right thing. I'm not talking to the right person, right? And it's constant
Yeah.
because of that instant gratification that social media provides us, right? So the trick here is to go fucking enjoy your life, whatever your situation you find yourself in, even if it means a 5 second pocket of time first thing in the
Mm,
morning where you look out the window and you go, oh, the sun is shining.
mm,
Even if it's 2 minutes while you're brushing your teeth and you're staring at yourself in the mirror going, today is going to be a great day. Today
mm.
is going to be a great day. right? And the more you start to stack those types of things on, the less you start looking for validation from the outside world. But if you're looking for somebody else to tell you you're amazing, to tell you that you're beautiful, to tell you that you're rich, to tell you that your content's amazing, you're going to be waiting a really long time
Yeah.
because people don't respond to the desperation and the need. I need you to tell me I'm okay. You need to be your own cheerleader, which brings me
Hmm.
back to Hailstorm's line. You are the one you've been waiting for.
Yes. I think I need to like write that on a post-it note and put it on my mirror. I love it. It's going to be like
Yes.
my
Yeah.
new little morning mantra.
I got goosebumps again.
I love it. I might even try and find that song as well because yeah,
Oh, it's
sounds
a good one.
nice.
Yes.
Okay, that'll
Yes.
be on my playlist in the morning. So let's touch on this thing. You mentioned Instagram and I work with a lot of business coaches as well, and I've been through this myself, but when we're in that like it's almost like algorithm anxiety.
Yeah.
The number of times I personally have slagged off the algorithm and my clients have as well, like the algorithm's keeping me hidden. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not. But how can we like practically shift away from that algorithm anxiety into more like our authentic visibility?
Mm. Yeah, there's two things that come up for me around this one. The first one is, again, not making anything mean anything, right? We
Mm,
take things so personally. Like
yeah.
I posted one piece of content and nobody responded, right? It's the culmination of post after post after
Yeah.
post after post after post. So instead of thinking about the day in front of you and exactly the steps that you took today,
Mm,
which in the grand scheme of things don't mean shit, it's what you did 3 months ago
yeah.
and 6 months ago that's compounding that interest, right? We've got to put in the sweat, blood, and tears. We have to. If you think that building an online business on Instagram is easy, you're wrong.
Yep.
It's not easy, right? But I also understand that there's this perception that, we make excuses. We
Yeah.
make excuses. Well, the algorithm is hiding me, right?
Yeah.
I've been shadow banned, right? The excuses that I hear all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just not inspired to post today, right?
Mm,
One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten from a mentor, and it blew my fucking mind. Are you ready? I'm going to
go
drop it
on.
here.
Go on.
Stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. Stop consuming everybody else's content and go
Mm,
fucking live your life because your life is your content. Period.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
talk about the lessons you've learned. Talk about the breakthroughs you've gone through. Talk about, so long as it's not a current trauma, don't
Mm,
bring up current trauma, but talk about, what you're currently moving through
yeah.
and how you're leading yourself through it. And the biggest piece, people love to see behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
We are curious little kittens. I don't know. Every time my mentor posts a journal post, like a page of her journal, I
Mm,
am zooming in. I'm like, what's on that journal? Right? Because we
yeah.
want to know. So the more behind the scenes content you can post, they want to know you're a real human. Show
Yeah.
your life. And for the love of all that's holy, stop with the perfectly posed, polished photos. Just fucking be yourself.
I love that. I did something recently about that because I've had like a few brand shoots because I just adore them. Like since being a
Yeah.
child, like put me in front of a camera and I'm like a Cheshire cat. Like I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's my inner child wanting to be an actress. And I
Yep.
think that's the part of me that's like, yes, take my picture.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really funny, like considering like all like the body dysmorphia like things that I've been through as well. But maybe that's part and parcel of it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had that many pictures where like my husband is like taken of me and I look very precious or I'm laughing my head off or he's
Yep.
done something ridiculous and I'm just crumpled in pieces. They're
Mm-hmm.
the photos that everyone loves.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. I love the photo shoots. I love my branded photos,
Yeah, the
but I
glamour.
sprinkle those in with all the real too,
Yeah,
right? And use both
absolutely.
because those branded photos are still a piece of you. Like you said,
Mm,
you love having your photo taken, right?
yeah.
So that's still a part of who you are.
Mm,
So it doesn't mean like don't ever show those. It's just that we've got to also see the quirky and wonderful and wacky other version of you too.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And what does life actually look like? And it looks like me pissing myself, laughing myself and my husband. Yeah.
do.
That's what life really, really looks like. I love that. Thank you so much for the honesty with that as well. So, is there anything that you find that you're still learning to kind of like trust in yourself, or do you feel that now you've got these tools that you've kind of got a toolkit for life?
Hmm. Yes. So I'm constantly growing and I'm constantly looking for the next version of myself.
Mm.
And in this particular moment, I am in this place of self-responsibility.
Ooh.
And so choosing a new identity every day. But this one is a big one. And
Mm.
so it's like seeing how my mentor is calling me out for shit on my content. She's like, you're talking to the old version of you. You're talking to the old version, right? And so it's really just being hyper aware right now and like,
Mm.
oh, nope, that's old version. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that version. Nope, that version, right? So as somebody who's been creating content for 9 years online,
Mm.
I now find myself struggling to make content again.
That seems crazy, but it makes perfect sense at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm just shifting who I am, which means
Yeah.
it's shifting who I speak to. And yeah, I'm just having to catch myself in that a lot.
Yeah, I completely get that as well. Like I came back from a sabbatical and like a full rebrand and I was like the same as you, like, and how do we catch ourselves? And it's like, right, this feels good and like I've written it intuitively and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And then you post it and then you're like, was that the old
Yeah.
version of me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we start to like spiral. Like how do you like decipher almost like whether it
Hmm.
just because it feels natural, doesn't it? Like when we're writing, like it does feel natural and it flows. And I'm all for like I know a lot of people use like chat GBT and stuff. And like if you struggle with structure and like organizing your thoughts, fair play, like chat GBT will help you
Hmm.
organize it, but it still has to be your voice. And
Yes.
for me, as someone who's intuitive and who downloads things anyway, like I've got a lot to say.
Yeah, me too.
So in that sense, I'm not going to run out of content in that way. But do you have any kind of like little method where you have like a little check-in with yourself, either before
Mm.
you post or when you're reflecting on it?
So my favorite way to do things, and I've recently just started this, like I said, this is this
Mm,
new thing that I'm doing, is I use AI, but not
mm,
to write it.
yeah.
So what I do is I love to voice note. So all my
Mm,
my mastermind, my membership, I voice note all the time.
yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll just riff on my phone.
Mm.
And I use AI called voice notes to do that. So then it transcribes it.
Oh,
And it transcribes
fantastic.
my exact words, right? Which then I can pull from and create content from that.
Mm,
So that's the biggest thing is because when I'm voice noting, the first thing, first, before I voice note, I make sure that I'm in my power, right?
mm,
Not like, oh man, old version of me, this sucks, right? And then voice note, because then you know it's gonna come out wrong,
yeah.
right? So I do my thing. I get in my vibe and I make sure that I dance around, I get the playlist going,
Nice.
right? And I really feel into this new version of me, and then I just let her rip on a voice note.
Mm,
9 times out of 10, that voice note goes into my mastermind as some sort of training. It becomes content, it gets repurposed everywhere, right? But I think it's understanding first that you are in the right frame of mind and
yeah.
in the right frequency, and that your thoughts are clean for this new version of you. Then go voice note, then put it into AI and let AI do its
Mm,
magic for you.
yeah. I love that. And that's where like I think if you are someone who's very similar to both of us too, like, and you do have so many thoughts and ideas, like that's where AI can help you organize that.
I'm just gonna
Because I
plug in
think,
my journal and be like, can you please do something with this?
yeah, that's it. Because sometimes, like, I will write and write and write, and then I'm like, this does not like this is an essay. This is not like Instagram friendly at all. And even if it was like a voice note or a reel, like it would be extensive. And then I'm like, can you help me organize what I'm trying to like get across
Right?
here? And it
Yeah.
becomes like a month's worth of content from one like down. So that's great. Um, but yeah, I think that check-in before you do anything, and one of my mentors at the moment, he talks about like being in congruence. So like
Mm-hmm.
how like what field are you operating from? Like
Yeah.
is that in congruence with what it is that you're trying to achieve, with like the outcome that you're striving for?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you coming from a place of, oh shit, like I need to show up or I need to post or I need to sell something today?
Yep.
And that need and that pressure is not the zone that
Can
you want to be in. And
smell
of
that from a
course,
mile away.
yeah. And of course, we want to sell every, of course you do. You're running a business, but it should feel more like a pleasure.
Hmm.
And one of my favorite things for anyone who's listening, this might help you as well, is ask like, what would the universe, what would source, what would whoever have me share today, have me do today? What does someone
Hmm.
need to hear from me today? And that usually is enough to get, yeah, a month's worth of content coming through.
Absolutely. It's funny that you bring that up. So I actually use the numerology of the day to help
Ooh,
me come up with
fun.
that. So this is something I drop content prompts in my membership all the time that are based off of the numerological influence for the
Nice.
day. And so I sit every morning and I just feel into the number and the card for the day.
Mm.
And I ask that frequency, which would be God, universe,
Yeah.
source, whatever label you want to give it, right? But I'm asking that particular frequency what people need to hear
Mm.
today, right? So it gives me a little bit more specificity, which
Nice.
means I don't write 12 pages,
Yeah. We have a life to live at the same time as
right?
showing up
Yeah.
for our people.
Oh.
No, that's beautiful. And I think if I remember, you had a little gift as well that
I
you wanted to share.
do.
And I think that links to that, doesn't it? Does it link to like daily goings on,
Yeah, so
daily
actually,
numbers?
the gift that I have two things. So, I have a Telegram space right now called CEO Codes. So, if anybody's interested in more of the numerology side, they can
Mm,
join that Telegram space. I drop in kind of weekly forecasts for the week ahead and how to actually leverage that energy to make your life
mm.
better, to make your business better, to make your content better, all of those things. So, you can hop in there if the numerology is your jam.
I know
If
where
you're
I'm
more
going after
interested
this
in
call.
that, what's that?
I know where I'm going after this call. I love Telegram and I want to learn more about numerology.
Oh my God, I live in Telegram.
Yeah,
It's my
so
favorite
good.
place to be.
So good.
The other piece that I have is more for those who are interested in that divine timing cycle. So I
Mm,
have activate your weekly divine timing cycle. It's a workbook that you can download from my website. I'll make
okay.
sure you have the link.
Yeah, I'll put all the
And
links in the show notes so everyone can kind of grab all the goodies.
perfect. Perfect. So this workbook actually walks you through your weekly divine timing cycle. So
Mm,
it shows you how to calculate what your cycle is.
nice.
And then on each day, you've got journal prompts and like this is what the theme of that particular thing is. And you just kind of break it down. And so then there's journal prompts that you can go through and you start to understand that rhythm a little bit more so that you
Mm.
can embody that.
Nice. And I love that they're such like practical things. Like I love
Yes.
like things that we can do. Like
Yes.
obviously I am incredibly spiritual and connected to different realms of consciousness, but I'm also like a scientist and psychologist. Like I need the
Mhm.
practical stuff. And I know a lot of people who listen to this are exactly the same as well. So that's
When
gorgeous.
I was a virtual assistant, my business was called Get Shit Done. I'm
Love it.
very practical.
Yeah. Yeah, love that. And it's so necessary, isn't it? Because we are here to have a human experience and to experience all the
Mhm.
wonderful, gorgeous things. And part of that is we need to crack on
Yep.
and do the things, do the things.
Exactly.
So, I'm going to finish up with one final question, which is a
Okay.
question from another guest. So, um, I think we may have already kind of covered this, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's the one
Okay.
that's here. So, what's a part of your journey that people don't see but shaped everything?
Mm. Yeah, I think we did kind of touch on this. It's really hard to answer that question because I'm
It's
such an
deep,
open
isn't it?
book,
I'm trying to
right?
think who put that as well. I'm trying to remember which
Yeah,
guest
that's
it
a
was.
great question. I think, I've learned over the years to be very open and very vulnerable. And if
Hmm.
you are watching this on video, there are three statues up on my shelf behind me.
Hmm.
I won 7 International Film Festival awards for sharing my story
Oh my
in a short film called Yellow Bird, which will be available to the public in 8 days
God. I love
at
that.
the time of this recording. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest part of my story that I have not
Mm.
shared. So it's coming to the world. 480 million TVs around the world.
Oh
It's
my God,
coming
that's so
soon.
exciting.
So that's the one thing I have not shared yet, and I just got covered in goosebumps because it's
Yeah.
terrifying, but also really exciting at the same time.
That is so exciting. Congratulations. It's like an
Thank you.
exclusive.
Yes. And I had the honor of playing my mom in the film.
Oh,
Yeah.
how gorgeous is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. My inner child is like, yes, you're going to be in a
Yes.
film. Oh, that's so beautiful. And we'll make sure that this podcast airs before then so that people are like, oh, it's exclusive and they can go and check that out as well. But
Yes.
for anyone who's not in your world, I will put these links and everything in the show notes as well. But where can we find you? Where's best to find you?
Well, I recently got banned on Facebook, so Instagram would be the place. Or you can find me on my website would be where you would find anything about me, which is fullblastcoaching.com. But somebody once told me you've made it when you can be Googled. So you can just
Ooh.
Google my name and I am everywhere.
I love that. I've not tried to Google myself for a long time. I don't think you would get an awful lot now because I've only just changed my name from getting married. So I don't think there'd
Oh
be an
yeah.
awful lot about me yet. So I'm incognito.
Just Google yourself. It's
I'm
so
a
much
secret
fun. You learn so
mystery.
much about yourself.
I can only imagine. Dread to think. Gorgeous. Well, thank you so much. This has
Mm.
been like an epic conversation.
Oh,
I have loved this and I knew that it would be. And yeah, so nice to have someone that is beautifully aligned with all the values and wonderful beliefs that I have as well. And you are an inspiration. And I'm
mm.
sure many people will thoroughly enjoy this and be reaching out to you very soon.
Well,
But
thank you.
you
Thank you
are
so much for
so
having me on the
welcome.
show.
Anytime, anytime at all. And I'll be seeing you in Telegram later.
You betcha.
Thank you so much, my love, and thank you so much, everyone, for listening or watching, and we will see you very soon. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like and subscribe, and then step deeper into my world. Inside my Facebook group, Manifestation Myths, The Science and Success Codes by VQ, you'll gain deeper insights, exclusive activations, and live experiences with me. And if you're ready for full mastery of your business and lifestyle, explore my latest offers at vqlifestyle.com. Until next time, remember who the fuck you are, live exquisitely, and lead exceptionally.